Ayanna, and welcome to your energizing yoga practice today. Today we are going to be working on functional movement and some things to really get us centered in the physicality of the body. I know sometimes when I talk to people about yoga, they tell me that they're not flexible or what's the point of yoga? How does it apply to their everyday life? So today we're going to work on some functional movement and some functional things that can help strengthen and energize the body at the same time. So we'll start with some very functional movements for the neck, placing your hands on your knees, bringing the chin down towards the chest, exhaling the chin down. Inhaling the chin, rotating the shoulders up and down and back, and rotating the chin up towards the sky. Bringing the right ear to the right shoulder, and bringing the left ear to the left shoulder on the next exhale. Beautiful. And again, chin down towards the chest, like we're finding the points of a clock, looking up towards the 12 o'clock point of the clock. Right ear comes to right shoulder to 3 o'clock, and left ear comes to left shoulder on the exhale. And one more time, chin down towards the chest in 6 o'clock. And you've been thinking here of engaging the belly button back towards the spine, pulling in the core and strengthening the center of the body. Exhaling the chin up towards the chest. Right ear towards the right shoulder. Left ear towards the left shoulder. And bringing the head back to center. Inhaling the hands in front of the chest. Pressing the fingertips together. We'll gently close the eyes here to begin the practice and setting the intention for the focus of your practice today. So I invite you to inhale in, just bringing in the idea of what brought you to this practice today, what it is seeking you, and exhaling out any distractions, knowing and allowing the mind to know that you'll come back to it after the practice. And bringing in the fullness of the breath, bringing in the bottom of the lungs, the middle of the lungs, the top of the lungs, coming fully into the breath, into the focus, and exhaling out this time, out the mouth, out pursed lips, until all the air comes out all the way to the very bottom, as if you're blowing out a birthday candle. And even when you think there's no more air, pushing out the air on the bottom. Beautiful. And one more deep inhale, this time opening up the eyes, reaching up. The hands up above the head, interlacing the hands up towards the ceiling. Rounding into the sit bones, rotating the shoulders up and down and back. The ears are getting pressed by the sides of the arm, and exhaling the arms over towards the right side of the body. Grounding into the right hip bone and the left hip bone simultaneously. But finding that relationship as you pull the hands up and back to the bottom of the hip bone. And exhaling back to the center. Inhaling the elbows down to reach the top of the head. Exhale, pushing the hands back up towards the top of the ceiling. And as the exhale extends, bending towards your left side, grounding into that right hip bone, and making sure that you don't come any further than that when that right hip bone starts lifting off the ground. It's a little information for you to just ease back a little bit. Seeing if you can squeeze the side of the hand with the ears. Coming back to that nice fullness of the breath. Inhaling the hands up to the center. And exhaling them back out. pressing the hands firmly into the ground. We're going to inhale the right hand up behind the right ear and reaching over towards the right side, the left side of the body, bending the left elbow. And pulling the belly button back towards the spine here. You can look down towards your left hand and really engaging the belly button here. We're starting with thinking about where is the belly button, where is the core? What is the core, and how can we use it to strengthen the body? Inhaling the arm back up. And maybe you're thinking, well, it's been so long since I've even engaged or thought about the core. I don't even like the idea of abs. Just thinking about how this helps strengthen the body. And inhaling the arm up through the center of the chest, the left hand up behind the left ear. Exhaling, extending the left hand out over towards the right side of the body, looking down towards the right hand. I know I was talking to someone this week and they were saying, you know, it's been so long since I've actually used my core muscles or that type of engagement that they just shy away from it. But especially if you have any type of lower back issues, even sitting here in this pose right now with the right arm bent and engaging the left hip bone down and extending through the left fingertips, you'll begin to feel the side stretch that comes up all the way from the left side of the psoas up through the abdominals and the transverse abdominals. And this is the stabilizing mechanism that helps strengthen the lower back. And then coming out and letting that go, releasing that down. We're going to come over onto all fours. And using the same idea of engagement through the abs, inhaling the tail up towards the sky and the head up towards the sky. This plant is saying hi to me today. And exhaling the chin and the chest down. Bringing the belly button back up towards the spine. Inhale the chin and the chest up. Nice deep full breath into the front of the chest and exhaling, tucking the tailbone under. Lifting up into the back of the body. Inhaling the chin and the chest up. The shoulder blades weave together. And on the exhale, come back into your neutral spine. And you will gently see if you can lift up the left hand as if you're shaking someone's hand in front of you. Engage the belly button back towards the spine. And gently lift the right knee up off of the ground. And if that's comfortable for you, you'll even lift it up as if you're pressing into the ceiling with the top of the right foot. The right heel is pressing into the ceiling. Keeping nice and strong through your inhales and your exhale. And on the exhale, extending the right foot back into a flat line so that you're coming into this bird dog position. And on the exhale, allowing the left hand to come back down towards the ground, the right knee to come down onto the ground, and then coming back into your child's pose, releasing and letting go. Breathing into the lower back, and just noticing in the body where you have had the engagement of the muscles, and see how quickly you can release that on the exhale. And on the next inhale, we're going to come back up into your tabletop position, nice and neutral. Flat back, you could place a teacup on your back. And then inhaling the right hand forward as if you're shaking someone's hand, engaging the arm back towards the shoulders, pulling the hand back, and engaging the abs as you do that. Gently lifting up the left knee, pressing the left heel into the ceiling. And exhaling, stamping up onto the ceiling. Engaging through the belly. On the next inhale and on the exhale, extending the leg back as if you're pressing into the back wall. And notice if you're sinking in the arm, if you can push into your arm, if that's comfortable for you, to stabilize the body. As the right top of the foot presses into the ground, the left heel and the right hand pull in opposite imaginal planes. The belly button comes back towards the spine. And the inhale, drawing the knee and the elbow back towards the center and placing the right hand down onto the ground, the left knee onto the ground. And exhale, coming back into your child pose, arms out in front of you, knees widest apart, toes together. And exhaling, releasing that and letting that go. Seeing how quickly you can notice what parts of the belly were engaged. So we're using the awareness here, the awareness of this functional movement to bring us deeper into seeing how quickly we can engage and how quickly then we can let go and relax. This then becomes a practice that we can take off the mat as we're learning to sense biofeedback and information in the body and in the nervous system as challenges come up in the real world. And as we engage and notice that that's happening, then we can choose to just let it go. As we realize that sometimes with the nervous system, we perceive things as a threat when it's just information coming into the body, but it's our perception that then turns it into a conditioned response of stress. So exhaling out the mouth here, inviting in the fullness of the breath, inhaling, walking hands back up, and coming forward. This time we're going to come into a plank position. So I invite you to grab your hands, placing them together, the elbows spread shoulder width apart. And we're going to drop the pelvis down towards the floor. And if it's comfortable for you here, gently lift the right knee up off the ground and then the left knee up off the ground, engaging the core here. And even see if you can exaggerate, blow up, like blowing a bubble into the back of your back to lift it up, and then gently breathing, engaging the belly button back towards the spine, lifting the head up so that it's parallel towards the floor. We're going to be here for 3 breaths. Inhaling in, noticing how the ribs knit together as the belly button moves back towards the spine. You know, you're like functional movement, Exhaling that back out. If you need a break, just let your knees come down and then come right back into it. Inhaling into the belly. Nice and strong. You are strong. I am strong is your mantra today. And one more, inhaling in. I am supported. Using this core to stabilize. And on the exhale, letting the knees down and coming back into your child's pose. Releasing that, rotating the shoulders up and down and back. I invite you here to interlace or place the hands behind the head in a prayer position, letting the elbows widen further apart. Beautiful. And feeling that beautiful release that happens when there's the nervous system and the muscular system fires on. So we have that beautiful experience of exertion and then release. Really, and the relief of that release. Exhaling down. Okay, and then tucking the toes under, coming back into a downward dog, walking the toes out, bending the right knee, inhaling, exhaling the right heel down, bending the left knee, inhaling, and exhaling the left heel down. And again, at your own pace, just walking out your dog here, bending the right knee and then the left knee simultaneously. But just inviting yourself to really be luscious and deliberate really vocal about the breath today here, this practice, as we move into the next exercise, the next practice. Beautiful. Then bending the knees here. We're going to come forward as if we're coming into a downward, the knees coming down towards the floor, and then shifting the weight forward as if you're coming into a tabletop position. So the knees are lifted off the floor, and then release them onto the ground. So the toes are tucked under, right? Hands spread hip width distance apart, shoulder width apart. Shifting the weight into the arms here, and then lifting the knees up off the floor. We're engaging the core back towards the belly. Inhaling here for 3 breaths. And exhale, knitting the ribs together in the front of the body. Inhaling, breathing into the back of the lungs, backside of the heart. Nice audible breath, and exhale out on. And one more inhale as the knees are lifted up. You might even firm up into the quads as you lift up the knees, really active through the toes. And exhaling back to your downward dog. Feeling the relief here. And then walking the feet forward, the right foot in front of the left foot, the right foot in front of the left foot, and coming into a forward hang here at the front of your mat. Beautiful. Letting the head shake nice and loose and free, grabbing hold of both elbows, releasing the head back and forth, shaking it back and forth, yes and no. And on the exhale, bending the knees, allowing yourself to really rest forward. So you're almost sitting back in a chair here. The hands might be on the floor, the fingertips might be on the floor, and the torso is resting on the thighs. So this is a really relaxed position here. Your belly is just hanging nice and loose and free on the thighs. And on the next inhale, engaging the belly button back towards the spine, engaging the pelvic floor, tugging the tailbone under, and gently rolling up until the head and the neck, the shoulders are hanging forward. The head and the neck are the last thing to come up, rolling the shoulders up and down and back. And the hands come into the heart center. Beautiful here. And then just taking a notice of the heartbeat here. Noticing maybe perhaps the elevation of the heartbeat. See how quickly you can use a nice deep 3-count inhalation and a 4-count or a 5-count exhalation. Blowing out the mouth to slow the heart rate down. And you'll feel it slowing down as the hands are pressed into the chest. Beautiful. And placing the hands out in front of you, parallel to the ground, we're going to come back sitting into our chair position. So the knees are parallel over the shins. And coming back to sit in your chair position, the tailbone is tucked under, nice and straight through the lower flat back. And then exhaling back up to standing. Inhale, bringing the hands in front of the heart. We're going to inhale back and sit in this chair. And exhale, coming up. Pushing the pelvis bone forward. So this is a move that is this is the most functional move of all the moves. The squat or the chair move. It's something that we use our entire life. So we're going to inhale and sit back in that chair. The thighs nice and strong, the quads nice and strong. Inhaling here and exhaling, pushing the pelvis bone forward. And imagine if you had a tail that it would be coming between your legs. Inhale, rotating the shoulders up and down and back. Beautiful. Inhale, sitting back into the chair. Nice and strong through the thighs. Seeing how far can you come down without the knees coming over the top of the toes. The chin parallel to the floor. And exhale, pushing up. The arms come wide apart and squeezing the buttocks together as you're pushing the pelvis forward. Beautiful. Inhaling, coming back. So really exaggerating this move as the tail comes back. But notice I'm not bowing out the back. I'm still engaging the abdomen here and exhaling, using that engagement of the abdomen to push the tail and the cheeks to the buttocks together as you're pushing the pelvis forward. Inhale, coming back. Sitting deep into that chair. How parallel can the legs come with the floor? And exhale, pushing the pelvis forward. So if you've ever wanted to have working on your bunda, this is how you do it. And then also the function of having a nice strong backside is that this is the functionality that is creating strength in the lower back and then also creating the strength in the core. So 3 more of these, inhaling back. Legs parallel to the floor. Make sure your knees are come over the ground, and exhaling, pushing the pelvis forward. And the buns come together. Inhale, coming back into your chair. Sitting down here, seeing how far can you go down, and then exhale nice and strong, firm through the legs as you push up, engaging the pelvis forward. Exaggerating it forward, and inhale, coming all the way back. We're going to stay here for 3 breaths. Inhale. You might even bring the arms parallel to the floor and exhale. Out through the mouth. Pulling up on the pelvic floor. Inhale here. And exhale. If you're feeling like you need some strength, push into the thighs here. Engage the quads. And on the next inhale, exhale, pushing through the thighs. The pelvic floor moves forward as the buttocks engage forward. Inhale, rotating the shoulders up and down and back. And exhale, releasing that and letting it go. Coming back to the hands in front of the heart, gently closing the eyes. And seeing how quickly can you come back to this 3 count inhalation and 5 count exhalation. Feeling the beating of the heart and coming back to your mantra for this class, I am strong. I am fierce. So using the strength of the body, mind, and spirit, and the strength of this functional movement. Beautiful. Exhale, releasing the hands down. Very nice. And we're going to come into some leg lifts, which is basically marching to get the body in a fluid state. So for engaging into the left foot, left heel, and gently inhale, shifting the weight over to the left foot, raising the right heel off the floor, pressing into the big toe, and when it's comfortable for you, you might place one hand on the wall, or if you can, find one spot in front of you that is unmoving. This will definitely help you not move, and then gently lift the right knee up until it comes into a 90-degree angle in front of you. And then exhale, bending both knees and stamping the right heel into the ground. Exhaling that down. And then on the inhale, micro bend in the right knee as you're lifting the left knee up off the floor. Left knee comes to a 90-degree angle. All the weight is shifted over onto the right side of the body, but making sure that you can square off your pelvis here. And then on the exhale, stamping that left heel into the ground, bending both knees. Beautiful. Inhaling, engaging all the weight over into the left heel, lifting the right heel off the ground, right knee at a 40-degree angle, or 90-degree angle, creating a parallel position of both hips to the floor, nice and strong, and pressing the right heel down into the ground. A little bit slower here. Inhale, lifting gently. See how slow can you move, as if you're moving through molasses, lifting that left heel up to a 90-degree angle as you're straightening through the right leg. And then on the exhale, very slowly, very evenly stepping the left foot into the ground. We're going to take this a few more times. So inhaling, very slow. Your most As if you're moving through molasses or your robot move, lifting that right foot down onto the ground and noticing the engagement here of the buttocks engaged into the core as you're lifting the left knee up to the 90-degree angle, pressing firmly into all four corners of that right foot. And on the exhale, stamping that left foot into the ground, evenly distributing the weight, and then moving the weight over to the left side of the foot, inhaling the right knee at a 90-degree angle, tucking the tailbone under, but still engaging, pulling up on the left side of the quad, and exhaling the right foot down. And one more time, left leg comes up to balance and even that out. And exhale, we're going to stamp this onto the ground. So building on this move, we will move into a warrior. So inhaling the arms up above the head. Exhale, cascading forward. Inhale, coming up to flat back. The hands follow up the front of the legs into the flat back position, and exhale down to a downward dog. The feet walk back, parallel to each other on the mat. Inhaling in, releasing the neck. And exhaling the right leg up into the air. Inhale, reaching the right leg between both hands. And then coming up, you're allowing the left heel to come back down onto the ground. And inhale, coming up into your warrior one. Both hands extended up towards the ceiling, or perhaps out at a 90-degree angle here. The left heel is pushing gently and firmly into the ground. Nice and strong through the belly. Keeping that engagement and that strength. And then if it feels good for you, inhaling the hands in front of the heart. Here we're going to come up onto the left toe, and we'll switch using that strength of what we're doing. We're going to slowly step this left leg up and forward, and coming into lifting the left leg forward and back into your warrior three position. Left leg comes off the ground. It's okay if you fall out of it. And exhale, releasing the left toes back down towards the ground, bending the right knee at a 90-degree angle. Inhaling the arms up towards the sky. And exhaling. The hands come back down. Coming back to your downward dog. Beautiful. Lifting the left leg up into the air. Bringing the left knee up, squeezing it towards the abdomen, bringing it up between the hands. Circling the right side of the heel down. Inhaling the left knee at a 90-degree angle. The hands come up towards the sky. Up to your warrior one. Nice and strong. I am strong. The heart shines forward. Inhale and exhaling here. Exhale, bending both elbows to your cactus position. And on the inhale, hands come in front of the heart. And coming up onto your toes, walking your right toe forward, or coming all the way forward if it's comfortable to you, into this hands, into your warrior three. The right leg comes out directly behind you, bending forward. And then on the exhale, bending the left knee, the right toes come down. And exhaling, hands down towards the ground. The left leg comes back into downward dog. So we were working on this functional movement to come into that position. Both knees come onto the ground. The toes come together and come back. Relax into your child's pose here. Letting go of any judgment. Letting go of any what was that. Just coming back to the breath in the present moment. Inviting in the strength of the body. the strength of the spirit, and seeing how quickly can you let go of what happened before so that you're ready for the next moment. And then exhaling, coming up into your tabletop position here. We'll inhale the right arm up into the air. Exhaling the right arm under into a extended pose so that the left hand walks forward, the right hand comes through. Can you look up underneath your left armpit here? Allowing the stretch to move into the right shoulder as the left side of the ribs open up. Inhale, and on the next exhale, bringing the left palm down underneath the left shoulder, pressing into the palm and unfurling that right hand back up into the air, looking up towards your right palm, and exhale, inviting it back down to your tabletop position, pressing into the right hand, gently inhale, lifting up the flexibility and stretch here as you invite the left hand to weave underneath the right armpit, across the right side of the body, and across the left side of the floor, allowing the side of the left ear to come onto the floor, the right fingertips might walk out if that's comfortable for you. Breathing into this gentle twist. And today from the practice, we are doing a lot of inhaling and exhaling through the mouth to just release the stress, release any of the functional movements. However, if you're feeling like you are more advanced in your yoga practice, or if you're familiar and used to using the Ujjayi breath of inhaling in through the nose and exhaling out the nose to conserve energy, please go ahead and do so. And then when you're ready, inhaling the right arm up into the air. Exhale, pressing the right heel of the hand underneath the right shoulder. Pressing all the weight, unfurling here, allowing the left hand to come back up into the sky as you look up and exhale. Beautiful. The hand down. And then coming back into a seated position here, we will lift the right leg up over the left knee. If this is comfortable for you, you might just keep the left knee is on the bottom. The right knee might come and actually line up over the top of the left, the other knee. You could walk both feet out so that they're parallel to your mat in this Gomukhasana or cow face pose. Inhale and exhale. This might just be enough for you right here. And see if you can even both hips into the floor. Beautiful. The hands come in front of the heart. Coming back to the strength and this point of focus with the breath. Beautiful. And on the exhale, bringing both hands down. We're going to do a really fun move here, one of my favorite moves. You will walk your right hand over your left knee, and we are going to bring the head down so that you're looking between the legs. You're kind of in this Egyptian pose here, and then bring your head down so that you're looking between both legs, the head to the back of the mat, and then crisscrossing this time so that the right knee will come underneath, the left knee will come underneath the right knee, and you come around. So if you're like, wait a minute, how do I do this? I just might encourage you to try it one more time. Hands back, turning around, stacking right knee on top of left. Let's just have some fun here. And then head back, turn around. Just to somatically place this movement in the body. Beautiful. And if it's comfortable for you, you might bring the shins a little bit more parallel towards the front of your mat. If this is enough, you might maybe even notice here the difference between the left hip and the right hip. As much as possible, inviting both hips to stay on the floor, placing hands in front of the heart, perhaps closing the eyes here. That gentle upturn on the corners of both sides of your mouth as the hands are in front of the heart. Moving in to see how quickly you can step into the state of calm as our practice begins to wind down. Beautiful. And just one more thing here, unfurling both legs so that the hips then move parallel onto the floor. The knees are spread wide apart, coming back onto your elbows. Inhaling the chin up towards the sky. If this is comfortable for you, in your lower back, you might extend the legs so that they're flat onto the ground. You place both hands so that they're flat underneath the back side of the buttocks. You might even walk back so that your chest is up towards the sky and you're even placing your buttocks on top of the palms of the hands as they lean back. And if this is comfortable for you, you might even shift the weight back even further to come into this Matsyendrasana fish pose as the top of the head moves back towards the top of the floor, breathing through the front of the neck here. And if you've had enough, then you can release all the way the hands onto the floor, lying all the way flat on the back. And quickly coming into this relaxation pose. I invite you, if you have a few moments here, to just take some time. 3 breaths here, inhaling in, relaxing into the mantra, I am strong. Exhaling out anything that stands in your way of that, knowing that inner determination and strength that is your true nature. Inhaling into the front of the chest and just seeing how quickly can you relax your feet, your ankles, the legs, relax the butt, relax the thighs, relaxing the belly, the chest, relaxing the arms and the hands, relaxing the head, neck, and jaw, relaxing the eyes in their socket, and then just coming back to your natural breath here. Placing your hands in Anjali Mudra, prayer position over the third eye, giving thanks for right heart-centered thought, coming into your true nature of strength, and stepping in with the hands in front of the mouth, giving thanks for right heart-centered speech, including this self-speech, and the words that we say to ourselves are just as important as the words we say to others. And then bringing the hands in front of the heart in this mudra of right heart-centered action. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for showing up today. Namaste and Ashe. It's been an honor to spend this time with you today.